Hey yogi friends, Kit Kat here. Welcome to this tutorial. Today in Bali it has been raining quite heavily. Indeed, my backyard that I'm looking at here was like a flood zone today. There's loads of clouds in the sky and it's a little bit sweaty, so you could say we're in rainy season. So this lesson is around habitually helping the self. So it's probably about 2 years ago now, wrote a blog. As you know, I'm a regular writer of blogs and indeed am partway through writing my second book, as well as all the ebooks that are contained in the courses and the online trainings. But one of the blogs that I wrote that I think was particularly useful was one around habitually helping the self. And throughout the course of this blog and these notes, I actually looked at and talk about some of the tools and techniques that I used when I was looking and at self-help, like helping myself, and reading through all these books, because there's points in time where you read books, or you read through a blog, or you watch listen to a podcast, or watch that podcast on YouTube, and you think, how do I integrate all of those things? And we think for some reason that magically, if we watch that YouTube video, or we listen to that podcast, or we read that book just once, miraculously that is going to see us evolve in our health, our self-help journey just blossom and us just change automatically. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Anyway, so I'm going to read my blog to you. You can also jump over to my website, Imperfect Yogis, and you'll be able to read the blog in your own sweet time over there as well. And please feel free to share that blog with friends, family, anyone that is looking at doing any kind of self-help or coaching. Not only, hopefully it's an entertaining read, but a lot of useful information there as well. So without further ado, my blog, Habitually Helping the Self. Self-help can be a minefield. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's a multi-billion-dollar business because as humans, we are always looking to improve our situation. We the people are obsessed with bettering our lives, our eating, our sleeping, studying, exercising, relationshiping, and of course the W word, work, or rather work-life balance. Oh, and how we need to find balance, and you better make that gram-worthy along the way. Instagram has become so important in our life, in the landscape of our life. As a result, the market for self-help or self-improvement content continues to skyrocket. In 2018, the self-help industry was worth about $10 billion per year in the United States alone. Experts predict that an average of 5.6 yearly gains until the year 2022, and I will make a little NB at this point in time, because I think in light of the last 2 years that we've been through, or the last 20 months, that figure has grown or increased quite dramatically as people are looking for ways to change and evolve their current situations or lifestyles, or the decisions that they've made in the past that no longer suit their current journey or the trajectory that they are indeed on. So the Harvard Business Review says that in 2022, the self-improvement market would be worth about $13.2 billion. So I think it's going to be probably a little bit more than that at the moment. We really, really want to change, but change is hard. So we keep browsing, looking, speed reading, osmosing podcasts through our AirPods, and hoping for that magic elusive unicorn, just add water, 2-minute noodle fix. We, the improvers, have created our very own self-improvement culturescape, a wild and woolly wilderness of advice, templates and tutorials for living our best lives. And you only have to look at Instagram to see those, or at least seeing how someone else has managed to see it, right? That's the Instagram stuff I was talking about. Templates and tutorials for living our best lives, or at least how we see someone else has managed to live their best life, while we're still depressed at home eating donuts, wondering or not wondering why our jeans don't fit. Stop, pause, wait just a minute. We seriously need reminding that there is no one road to success. There is no one size fits all. That person, the author, made it on their own path, and so can you. Just like our asana practice, our yoga shapes, there is no perfect shape, no right or wrong way, no my way or the highway. No magic pill, unicorn puff, holy grail, fix me up, Route 69 to success. We are all unique in our own soul print or divine destiny. Different stories swirling in around us alongside our beliefs, forming the foundations of how we function in this life. These foundations are the patterns and programs gifted to us by early influences, that being our parents, extended family, teachers, friends, the news, governments, university, and work. All play a large part in where, who, what, why, and how of our daily thoughts. It's a wonder that we have our own thoughts at all with all the noise. And well, I suppose we really don't unless we have a fairly solid meditation practice that enables us to reconnect to source and find that connection to our most creative higher self. Our digital obsession, flick, 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 flick. Went too fast there. Our digital obsession has fueled and expedited the growth of comparison culture. Our closeted inner voyeur can now dive down the deep, dark digital detour for hours, pining for the life of someone who seemingly goes faster, is more bendy, eats healthier, travels more, works less in a society where we often wear our exhaustion and busyness like a badge of honor, dropping to sleep on the couch, iPad resting on the rise and fall of the breath. Comparison is the thief of happiness and it's bloody exhausting. Super accessible social media tends to amplify our search results and occasionally leave us with feelings of failure or not being up to par no matter how much progress we've actually made. The answer is to focus on your own path, which will include both cheerful successes and fall down learning curves of failure. Failure is just a way to finding your edge. It's not a dirty word. Failure reveals to us those places where we need to do the work. So this undesired exploration or falling off your life path indeed illuminates the way to change. Whether you're reading a book or scanning your Instagram feed, use these stories for inspiration, information gathering, but not comparing yourself. My best advice is to curate your digital diet. If people or accounts leave you feeling empty, unfollow or unsubscribe. It's simple. Why torture yourself? Just why? You can learn plenty, be inspired by great ideas, stories from other peeps, but your path to personal development is always going to be unique. I am going to highlight here that it's essential to be realistic about your goals. Dream big, make a plan, use visualization, break that plan down into bite-sized pieces of the plan puzzle and do a puzzle piece at a time. Want to make it really real? Get help. Get someone to hold you accountability. Accountability is a superpower in the change game. Remember though, real change doesn't happen overnight, although it will happen. Anyone remember that Pantene ad in the old days? You have to commit and do the work. 21 days is what you need to install a new habit. There's no quick fix, there's just tenacity and application. Alongside this biggie, you have to shift your mindset. Reading books will change your life. Reading books is awesome. There are so many amazing books to be peeled open, dog-eared on your journey to your best life. However, reading one self-help book and expecting that book to somehow magically change your life is one of the many definitions of madness. Think of reading like creating or curating your own development program, where you get to assess what a book or blog writer or what people are saying and see if it makes sense to you in your personal circumstances. Will it help create future you, dust off your sparkly soul print and send you off to fields of joy? Just because it's a bestseller doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be your game changer. The one that will resonate, recalibrate, rocket you off into the happiness stratosphere. And quite often we think that because a particular book has sold, a million copies, that that's going to be the one that's going to change our lives. And often it's the most random books with these tiny tidbits of information that we find in there that are ones that make the change for us or that start us off on our journey of change. So this is my MO, my modus operandi, i.e. my method of operation. When you find a book that resonates, and you might just be reading the back of this book when I did pick up indeed this book, How to Be Human by Ruby Wax, which there's a lot of light reflecting over there. Maybe I can see it over here. Yes. I picked up the back cover and I was like, oh, Ruby has beautifully fused neurology and spirituality. Ooh, the brain and the spirit and the essence of self, or the essence of the universe, and given us a means to cope with operating both mind and brain. I did like a little reel the other day that talking about the separation of mind versus brain, and it's the brain that keeps us functioning in our little lives, but it's the mind that we can switch on and off, and it's that mind that we try to turn off during meditation and find a little bit of stillness or silence away from that busyness. So you pick up that book and you find what resonates, and you read that book 6 times. And then you read it another 6 times. And you might pick this book up first and then pop it back down and pick up something else that intrigues you. And then you go back and you go, wait a minute, I want to read that book again. There were things in there that really resonated with me. And this is where we read them and we read them again. Then we trade what doesn't resonate for you with something that does. We find new stuff and we start to link common themes along the way. We try stuff on, test out the tactics, and we adopt the practices that work for us, helping us to morph into future us, or helping you to morph into future you. Beep, beep, beep. Just in case you drifted off. It's essential to get out the highlighter, pen and post-it notes and turn that book, or indeed all of those books, into your personal unique transformation program. It's almost like you should never ever want to learn those books, because they will become messy little legible records of your life change. Scribbles, deeply personal notes, and memos for you to read and reread. What's fascinating is reading your notes 6 to 12 months down the track. New you, smiling at old you, seeing your personal evolution documented in the indents and paragraphs. And I flipped through this book before, but there's like, I'm not sure if you can actually see this if I get it up closer, if I turn it around to the side here. Oh, yep, there it is, the highlighted section at the book at the top here. But loads of my books are just like, they've got dog-eared corners and they actually look a mess, and there's personal notes written in here. They just become a little part of my history of my personal change journey, and some of the really important ones I continuously have on my desk, and I might have them on my desk for a year or two, and I constantly refer to those. I might refer to them 2 or 3 times a week, just as I recall some extraordinary little detail that something else has reminded me in my life to pick up that book and read that segment or section again. As I said, deeply personal and moving stuff. These books become your friends, and you can call on them for reminders, like the advice from a good friend. But that good friend is really just you. Don't give up that one read of that one bestseller because that book wasn't your cure-all. Reread the book or the blog. Get a vision of future you. Do the work. Form new habits. Evolve. Read more and repeat. Most of all, you have to take action. Reading along won't break the old patterns, programming and beliefs. There we go, done it again. Bleep, bleep, bleep through there. Don't give up, because that one read of that one bestseller wasn't your cure-all. Reread the book, blog, and get a vision for future you. Do the work, form new habits, evolve, read more and repeat. Most of all, you have to take action. Reading alone won't break the patterns and programming and beliefs. You need to go all in. Get someone, a coach, a mentor, a group, to hold you accountable. And remember, it takes 21 days to form a new habit. And this is one of the essential reasons that you've joined this Breathe, Bend, Sit, Sustain program, so that you're not trying to create these habits by yourself, but you're actually working with someone, me, who's going to lead you and give you some ideas and take you on a journey towards instigating that change. You're going to take action, and you can either work with me one-on-one, or you can get the Facebook group that you're already in to be your accountability partner. Maybe you might be working with someone, or you've invited a friend and there's 2 of you doing this coaching program together, and hold each other accountable through this process. So in this blog, I actually talk about some of the books and blogs that I've loved and learned from. So along my teacher trainings and just various different journeys and just little, hours in bookshops, little hours in bookshops, long hours in bookshops. I think I'm going in for 10 minutes. I've lost an hour. It's like that online shopping for books as well, if we haven't been able to get to bookshops. But some of the important books that I've found along my way, and I've mentioned these and I've put links in my blog as well. So if you head over to the website, you'll be able to click straight into that link and find that book, and it will take you to the Amazon page as well. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. You might not be ready for it on your first read. It might take the second or third, and that book will reappear whenever it is that you need to hear those lessons. This next one was such a beautiful book for me. The first time I read it, I actually listened to it on YouTube, and it's in, I think, 9 chapters on YouTube, so you can log in and get that. And it's actually an audio book as well on Audible and iBooks. The Journey Home by Radhanath Swami. Brene Brown. Anything by Brene is awesome. I love reading her. She's so down to earth. Like, her stories and her tales and her MO is just so relatable. She's such a relatable individual. One of the ones that I particularly like, and I have reread it again and again, is The Gifts of Imperfection. Again, the link to Brene is there, so you'll be able to find that. Jay Shetty. So this guy has just gone from, like, we never heard of him before, and all of a sudden just exploded into the stratosphere on Instagram and definitely on YouTube with his own blogs, podcasts, and he's written a book, How to Think Like a Monk. So that was a great read as well. I have included How to Be Human, the manual, by Ruby Wax. And indeed, that you'll note if you follow me on Instagram that I quite often pop up and let you know exactly what it is I'm reading. Some of the books that I've been reading in the past couple of months are going down the very rabbit hole, or the very long and winding rabbit hole of breath. So anything to do with breath, and there's a couple of particularly great books, one by James Nestor, The New Science of a Lost Art. All about breathing, and another one by Patrick McEwen called The Oxygen Advantage, which takes you on more of a scientific journey of breath. Just Breathe by Dan Brule, another fantastic book, and there's a whole raft of other books that I've been reading and studying just in relation to that. And if we think that I've got some highlights through this Ruby Wax, How to Be Human, well, those breath books are like little Bibles that I keep referring to all the time, and I'm not actually sure when I'll be able to take those off my desk. Perhaps never, because I really super duper love them. Anyway, happy reading and evolving, my friends. Just remember, it's you that needs to do the work. So step on up and find and gift yourself some space for reading. If you are not a massive reader and that's something that you've lost touch with, because we get really busy in our adult lives, and I really make time for my reading. I give myself an hour a day, and I treat that like a lunch break. So I might have some watermelon, and I go, right, this is my adult time out. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to read for an hour. And part of it's about, like, yes, I'm studying in that space and this stuff's beneficial for me, but it's also about taking time out uninterrupted without any digital, no digital distractions. So no Instagram, no anything, no iPad, no MacBook, and no iPhone. So giving myself an adult time out there. Anyway, my yogi friends, that is all that we have in Habitually Helping the Self. I genuinely hope that you have enjoyed this read of my blog, and that some of the information in there really helps you get to the nitty-gritty of the messages that you need to hear in the books that you have picked up to read. Namaste, my yogi friends, and I will see you on the next tutorial. Adios.